So the conversation tonight, and I might record this as well and prepare this for podcasting conversation. Aggressive women or strong women. What do we like as men? What is this? What What does that say, and how does that feel? For those of you who are just tuning in right now, okay, yeah, I will, Stace. Uh, those of you who are tuning in, we're live right now on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. If you don't have the information for those, what up, Raul? Um, YouTube is youtube.com/ICGREEN1 for IC Green 1. And Twitch is I am IC Green. It's just I am ICGREEN. And then I didn't even know we had a goal up. And then Facebook is the official IC Green. So yeah. So last night, Christmas night, we went live. What up, Crump? Happy holidays, bro. We went live last night, and it was interesting because we ran into a very talented and accomplished young lady named Kelly Kale, and she's an artist, a recording artist as well. So if you guys want to check out her music, you can go check out her page, Kelly Kale or whatnot. And what seemed to be uh, challenging for a lot of people was she had a very stern and kind of matter of factly way of being. It came off very, for most people, it came off aggressive. They said she wasn't inviting and whatnot. And I just kind of, try to help everybody understand that, listen, she is a stranger for the most part. And I'm a stranger to her. What up, Lavetta? What up, Mr. Incognito? Um, is that, she, we got to remember. I think what it is some people have a understanding of what social media is and how to perceive it or whatnot, and then others, we have a different experience and we approach it differently. And last night, it was different. Like immediately, it was very, her introduction was she empowers people, and and for the way that she communicated with us, I know my community and everybody who was in the live was kind of like, huh, because it came off very brash. But then when I looked at the title of her book, yeah, right, it went from cold to hot. Her book was entitled, what's up, Royal? Her book was entitled, "Go Get That Effing Degree." You know what I mean? So already I knew, like, okay, she's very assertive, very aggressive in that manner. Straight, no chase. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of that is that's funny, Bambi. A lot of that is how you find most people that are from up north or from Detroit. Very matter of factly, very in your face or whatnot, and very to the point, until they get to know you. And most people like people from Michigan. What up, Louise? Most people like Midwesterners because Midwesterners typically are super chill, cool people, well-rounded, down to earth. We have a lot of great, especially when it comes to social. We have a lot of strong social. Uh, the way that we communicate, our social attributes are very high, and I think it's because we're a blend of everywhere. You know what I'm saying? When you're in the middle, you learn it from each side. You know what I mean? You learn it from the West Coast side, you learn from the East Coast side, from down south, and then you have what you get from where you're from. Um, yeah, it is. And so in that, we we can kind of communicate and relate to everybody. What up, Sandra? So last night, again, it was very different at first. And for anybody else, it would be off-putting. For those of you who didn't get a chance to see it or be a part of it, I was, I'm pretty even keel. I'm not easily moved or controlled by other people. Now, some people would have been off-put by her personality or attitude, and then would have either disconnected immediately or would have tried to go back at her, or would have been a battle of testosterone, so to speak. And I'm not easily controlled like that. I'm a man who controls himself, and that way I can relate to everybody. Like, I know you may be going through something. I don't know what the circumstances may be. I don't assume I know. I don't participate in jumping to conclusions. So I'm able to take you as you are and kind of just go from there. Yeah, Yeah, that's what's up. Stacy said I was not fond of her, but I noticed what you were doing, being a vessel, so I trusted you. Yeah, so for the most part, that's it. You have to be a few things when, especially in the social limelight, when you're dealing with other entities and other people, you have to have a way that you manage yourself so that it becomes a safe place for everybody else. So when she was, she was dry a little bit, and she was a little, off-putting a little bit. But again, I get it. You know what I'm saying? Because I've been exposed to those type of people all. You know what I'm saying? Um, in every walk of life that you've been in, there's always somebody who has a very stern disposition that you may not understand at first. But like I said in last night, I was like, let the right person come along and you'll really get to see who she is. You know what I'm saying? You'll really get to see her blossom. Did you just say he can take you as you are? Jesus take the yeah, I kind of just take people I meet people where they're at. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't, I made a compliment to her and her creativity, and her knowing what she wanted or how she wanted to do things came to the forefront. And it wasn't in a way that everybody would have been like excited to hear it or whatnot. She was very like, nah, this is da 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 da, and I do da 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 da, and it was that. And I could have been like, well, shoot, da 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 da. We could have did a back and forth. But I had to choose to let me just hear her out. You know what I'm saying? And then when we finished the conversation, it was all smiles. It was cool. And I returned to just because we did a battle, and then we returned back to our conversation. And as I returned back to the conversation, I wanted to debrief my group, my community, and she showed up in our community, and under an alias name, as some people do, which is different. You know what I'm saying? I usually leave people's lives. What up, Chateauvia? And I don't care to go back. You know what I'm saying? But I do understand when individuals feel as though they may not have been perceived the right way, and even when one of the people from her chat came over to ours, and she realized that the community was having a conversation about how her personality and attitude was, she adjusted a little bit, you know what I mean? And she wasn't as brash then. And then when she came over to our channel under her alias name or whatnot, she was, and when she came over, she kind of understood where and how we move. Like, we're not like that, you know what I'm saying? But I understand how, I made a point to say this, that quality where she was very kind of standoffish is a quality that men look for in women. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, and that's the difference, Bambi. That's what we're talking about tonight. We're talking about being aggressive or being strong, right? I think that most men would like their women to be unattainable by anyone else by the way that they present, meaning the way that they hold themselves separated from the normal. Most instances, and you guys seen it when we go live, they're very inviting people on there. And again, these are the thought that there's a possibility to believe that everybody wants something from you. That's a whole nother discussion. You know what I'm saying? That's another safeguarding system that sometimes it benefits you and sometimes it excludes you from from some things. You know what I mean? It's one of those things where you don't open the door wide enough to even see what may be on the other side of the door. And fortunately for her and for everybody here, when the smoke cleared, she was in our live. We were having a great time discussing something that she was passionate about that I also parallel a passion for, which was music. And by the time the night ended, everybody had a better understanding of who she was. She gained some new fans, some new followers. What up, Tammy? It was a really dope moment, right? But a lot of times in when we're relating to one another or looking to relate to one another, we don't get those opportunities for a second chance. So how we present, especially on the first presentation of a conversation, your first impression is super powerful. You know what I mean? If we had left that live alone last night after battling, no one in my live would have followed her. I can guarantee you. Nobody in my life would have followed her. No one would have participated in a conversation with her. There's nothing that she could have done in the immediate future that would have changed people's opinions about her, and saw her in a different light. They would have frowned up every time they saw her, based off of her first presentation. And the truth is, we all don't get that. So understanding how you present is super powerful. Do you present as a strong person, or an aggressive person? You know what I'm saying? Are you challenging, or are you presenting in a way where people uh, can give you some grace? You know what I mean? I think last night that's kind of what happened with us, is that we gave her, there was a lot of grace to be given, and I think it turned out really well. But like I said, men want a woman who's standoffish. Yeah, but they only want it. Most of the times, you only want it when you have it, and then the weak, I won't say weak, I'll say the conversationally challenged, and those that don't have great intent. Ladies, I want y'all to pay attention to this. Men who don't have great intent for you and what you offer will fold like a chair at the moment you put up some resistance. You got it? The minute that you show a man that you have a different moral compass than the average girl, they will run, and it's a great process for you to eliminate unwarranted solicitations. You don't want to, no woman wants to be approached by somebody who doesn't have long-term or future intent for them. You know what I mean? That's not something anybody wants to invest in. Is something that's not going to be what it's supposed to be. And a lot of times, women who are very inviting and very open to that conversation and that situation, you're going to find that you're going to, you, when you should have had your guard up, you let it down, and then you get exposed to some things you shouldn't get exposed to, or that you don't want to get exposed to. So I say, and this is one thing that I liked, right? Even as a youngster, getting on the dating scene, I didn't want the girl that everybody could get. You know what I mean? Yeah, I see it. So listen, we're gonna pause for a cause, you guys. YouTube, you guys stay put. I'm gonna pause the podcast. All right, and then we're gonna restart on this channel one more time, and then if the numbers get low again, we're gonna go back to to the official. So I'm gonna restart right quick. So YouTube, what's happening is my account. No, 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 no. Okay, man, man, that's crazy. All right, what up, Liz? What up, Lavetta? I'm gonna have to. Man, what up, Tamika Alashanta? Stacy, I just read it. I just saw it. It just popped up when I stopped the live. I just saw it. Wow. Yeah, I gotta figure something out. Yeah, 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 yeah. I'll send her. I'll send her an email or whatever. Man, no, the numbers here on on TikTok are yeah, yeah, it's good. I'm glad. Thanks for telling me. Um, let me start this conversation again. All right, so we're picking it back up. And the conversation we were having was how you have to put up your barriers, and you got to stand true to those so that you can ward off anyone who shouldn't be coming to you. What up, D? Um, and that was something that I prided myself in. I didn't want to talk to uh, a woman that was easily accessible. And let me back up. I'm not saying that. Carrie, what's happening? I won't say I didn't talk to. I knew that the longevity that was supposed to happen in a relationship like that was far and in between. Because if it took nothing to get her, that means any person could speak to her or communicate with her from a lower level of conversation. Um, yeah, I just restarted it. And they could grab her attention, and that part. is not something I was excited about. And no man would be, right? Any woman that seems, or any person, even for you ladies, when you're dealing with a man, if it's, y'all know how, if he's all over the place, if he's, easily touchable, and of course, you would have the rumor mill saying, yeah, he been with a lot of people and all this stuff. Typically, that's not the case. I'll tell you right now, I got more credit for being around or with people that I was never with. What up, Shannon? That I was never with. You know what I'm saying? And which is a hard thing to manage as well. Um, I got, I was, I was told I was a player when I really wasn't. You know what I'm saying? I was told I had access to a lot of girls that I didn't have access to, and then I also had a lot of female friends, right? And they were just friends. And even into my, even in when I moved to Atlanta, that seemed to be the case. Is that everybody thought that the girls that were around me, that I was, that we were into something, and we weren't. Like I had some. I've been very fortunate to have awesome female friends, and the same way we talk and I give y'all advice, the same way I was there for them and I'd hear. And that would, for me, that was always the turnoff. For me, the turnoff was knowing too much about them. You know what I mean? Gorgeous women, trust me, they were beautiful women. But for the trauma that they went through before I met them and the way they managed it and what they, all that kind of stuff, it was too much. You know what I'm saying? It was too much for me to be more than that, because they still had work to do. And as y'all always hear me say, what up, Bonica? The most challenging thing is to be in a relationship and not be the coach, right? A lot of times you'll get into a relationship and find that you're not two players on the same team pushing for the same goal, but you're a player who has Michael Jordan type skills, and you have another player who is trying to get their skills up but don't know where to go and how to go. And next thing you know, you're not playing at your best because you're trying to teach them how to get their stuff up. So now you're not a player anymore. Y'all not on the same team. Y'all not pushing at the same, the same way. You are now the coach. Now there's nothing greater. There's no way to build greater resentment. There's no way to build greater resentment than for the person you're coaching to not take the advice, and then for them to also challenge you at every end, even though they haven't had the experiences that you have, and they're not open to what you're trying to introduce them to. Um, Most people who aren't on your level hate to be told how to get on that level from somebody they believe is on the same level as them, because that's usually a lot of it. Is there's no self accountability, and then there's no looking at, like, very seldom do people tell you, like, no, I know you smarter than me, or I know you've been through this before, and give you that kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? Carrie Lynn says, I say be best friends first and go with the flow and see what happens next. That would be ideally the route to what we would like to say is a great relationship. But again, people don't want to enter into the friendship side of it, because the same thing that I just spoke about. You'll learn so much about somebody that you're not capable of handling, especially in the process of them still developing, or them still trying to heal or going through that. Most of the people that you want to be friends with, I mean, that you want to be in a relationship with, but you try to start off as friends, you find that they have a ton of red flags. And so we circumvent the red flags by going straight for the relationship, and we ignore or be blinded by love or lust or whatever, so that we can enter into that relationship, and we figure our commitment, once we've either done the, we've done the do, or whatever, will be enough to hold us through whatever we're dealing with. We use intimacy as a bonding or binding tool. You know what I'm saying? Ladies, once y'all give up the cookie, y'all feel like y'all married. Dudes, once they hit the cookie, they feel like they've accomplished something. And if you're with the right person, and it's just a synergy there, y'all will go through it. You know what I mean? Y'all will continue down the path, avoiding all the red flags of a healthy relationship. I ain't saying you can't have a relationship, but as far as it being helpful, what up, Mark? As far as it being a healthy relationship is what we're talking about. So I think that people don't communicate that enough, right? I don't think people communicate health and wellness in relationships. Foxy Brown said, "Just tell me the truth." Listen, you have to know who you're communicating with, because everybody can't handle the kind of level of honesty that you feel that you can handle. Yeah, we're live on YouTube right now too, y'all. For anybody who wants to join, it's ICGREEN. It's IC Green, then the numeric one. But yeah, and what's going to end up happening, because I see they're throttling the numbers again, Dara and everybody else, we're going to go back over to my official IC Green channel, where they don't throttle it as bad or whatnot, and we'll continue the conversation there. So we're going to pick it up with two snap. That's funny. Um, with the we'll start there with honesty, right? Because honesty is a challenge not only for the person who's being honest, but it's also a challenge for the person who's receiving the honesty. And you have to be willing and open and available for the accountability. So let's talk about that. We'll get into accountability. I'm going to pause the podcast right here. All right. YouTube, you guys stay where you are. TikTok, we're going to jump off, and I'm going to flip over to the official IC Green. If you're not following me there now, the backup account is pinned to the top by Stacy. The official IC Green, that's where we're headed to right now. Yeah, so YouTube, sometimes I have to change it. Y'all know this though. Y'all know sometimes I have to change it over until whatever hold they have on my account is over with. That's what I got to do. And so I'm not challenged by it. I hate doing it? Yeah, and until TikTok gets it right, I got to kind of manage it that way. It's just a small adjustment though. It's a small minor adjustment that has to be made every now and again. Um, and it's okay. It's again one of those things where it's the price you got to pay for the level of growth that you have. These are growing pains. You know what I'm saying? Um, so I'm not mad at it a whole lot. What up, Marcel? Marcelo. I'm not completely mad at it. You know what I'm saying? But I am kind of like, it's a little extra work. Who wants to do extra work? But we're gonna push through this and until TikTok gets it right, and then once TikTok gets it right, then we'll be straight. You know what I'm saying? It won't we won't and then I'll figure out a way to manage it. You know what I mean? Yeah, thank you. I'll figure out a way to manage it to where it's not so crazy, whatever. So let's pick up the conversation. So what up, Quana? Accountability, right? In relationships, like we're not capable. A lot of us. I've said this in our other conversation about knowing our qualifications in the confines of a relationship. What up, Tanja? They're throttling the other account there. That's all. You know what I mean? My main account on TikTok, they've decreased my viewership and the access to it, so people aren't getting notifications. I'm not being put on the FYP page. So it's a whole bunch of stuff, but um, accountability in relationships, and then being able to, being truly honest with who you are and what you're able to manage. Foxy brought up a great point. She's like, just be honest with me. But the reason why people aren't honest is because one, they haven't healed themselves to the point where they can be themselves. And then the people who they're being honest with, most people can't handle the truth. I am one of those people. I don't need, nor do I want to know everything off rip. What up, Shell? What up, Lo? Love. I don't want to know everything right up front. And that is, on the you should kind of want to know side of things, but I need my real relationship to have a hint of fantasy. I'm gonna be honest. I need my real relationship to have a hint of fantasy. I don't want it to be so real because the reality of life is just already challenging on its own, right? And then to be in a relationship uh, that has no, reality seems like it has no possibilities, and so maybe in that it just takes some growth. And what up, Day Day? Just take some growth and some time, but um, I don't need to know everything. I'm not gonna say I don't want you to be honest in a relationship. I just don't need to know everything, not right away. But I don't need you to lie to me either, right? So what I mean by that is, I want you to be your true self, and if that works out along the way, and I see certain little things, and you're managing them and trying to sort it out, cool. But man, there are people who are comfortable with their red flags, and they say, an excuse that you're going to hear in relationships that I've never subscribed to is somebody saying, that was how I was raised. And I'm like, yeah, but that don't make it right. That just make it how you was raised. If we all move through life based off what we were taught when we were kids, we'd be in bad shape. You know what I mean? How you were raised and what you've aspired to become and what you learned along the way has to hold more weight and value than you going back to your elementary days of communicating and dealing with things. But I've heard that before. You know what I mean? I've heard somebody say that. You hear that, I'm sure one I can tell y'all every year y'all gonna hear that. Somebody gonna say to y'all, well, that was just how I was raised. We was da 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 da. And my response is, once I knew better, my response was, that don't make it right. That just makes it how you were raised. Now, how you were raised in conjunction with how I was raised has to mean something greater to both of us if we're going to be in this relationship together. You can't hold on to that because that I wasn't raised like that, and I won't hold on to what I'm on. And if we're doing this right, the combination or collaboration of our ideas of what we thought can get us to a better place. And most people don't want to let the stubbornness in a relationship is just very challenging. So, um, and this goes back to what we were talking about. So the beginning of this conversation, it's not it's I don't know if the word is sacrifice. Hawaiian Girl says, "What are you willing to do to sacrifice for the relationship?" I don't think you have to sacrifice as much as you have to adjust. You know what I mean? I think there are adjustments that have to be made in relationships, but those adjustments, the heavy lifting, the major adjustments, please do that before we decide we're going to consider each other more than ourselves. Do the work before, you know what I mean? Sit out of the game for a minute and work on you for a minute. What up, natural? You know what your hangups are. You know what I mean? Um, Compromises, I think in relationship there always is, but they're healthy compromises. Nobody should feel like a loser in a compromise. You know what I'm saying? Not in a relationship. But again, you have to kind of manage how you guys operate. At some point, because relationships ebb and flow, some you may be stronger in one area and I may be stronger in another. That's the part where we have to have a mindset of not only learning for each other, but finding, understanding what that benefit is. You know what I mean? If you don't know what the benefit of having somebody else in your life is, then you're already off to a bad start. You got to know what that other person does for you that you don't readily do for yourself that strengthens the outcome of the way that you guys relate to one another. Um, the yin and yang in a relationship. So most times, this is what you'll find, right? Most times you'll find this very aggressive woman who's with a super chill dude, um, and they should be learning from each other. Like the chill dude should learn to be a little bit more aggressive. That will negate her ability to have to be aggressive all the time, and she should learn how to be chill sometimes, which is stop it. You know what I'm saying? Which will make them meet in the middle. Like the pendulum shouldn't swing so hard in one or another direction. Unfortunately, stubborn and prideful people swing it from their side and never consider the other side. So I think she said, "Would you never want the person to be honest?" I never said I didn't want them to be honest, Sandra. I don't need to know everything first and foremost, and I don't want to be manipulated by my willingness to not ask all those questions. Does that make sense? Most people are manipulated by the lie and what's not being said versus as long as what you're not saying continues to protect me without hurting me in the future, I'm cool with that. I don't have to know it all right away. But that's how most relationships start off. Most relationships get into a position where there's a commitment that's being made, and usually it's a physical commitment. You know, um, Katina says you should both give your all. I don't want anyone half of nothing. At some point, yes. When I meet you, Katina, if you give me your all and I'm not ready to receive it, we're doomed to fail anyway. I may not even be qualified for everything that you're trying to give me at the. This is why we spoon feed babies mushed up food. Although babies will smell fried chicken or they'll smell some really good food and want that. They're not prepared for that. So you have to spoon feed your relationship until you understand what the does the baby have allergies? Like, is there something that you're opposed to? Is there something that you really enjoy? Is there something that makes you, you know what I'm saying? Understanding what makes a person tick. And our courting period isn't long enough. I've never said 50-50. I've never been a 50-50 person at all. I've never been a 50-50 person. I'm always 100 and 100, but you can't give them that immediately. Like, y'all gotta, like, this is the reason why you court. This is the reason why you date. This is the reason why you stay on the phone for time, and then you make sure that that phone conversation matches up with the person that you're with in person. Because that's usually what happens. You get sold a dream on the phone, and then when you're in person together, that's why, listen, that's why the online dating thing is so awkward for most people. Because people shine and thrive through their online persona, and then when you meet them, you be like, ew, you're. It ain't even about the physicality of it. It's that they don't present the same way they presented when they were online, and I think that that becomes a huge challenge off rip. And it's not. It's a form of catfishing, but it's still like. Come on, man, you got me already because of the way we communicate. Like the communication is the tie that binds. I'm sorry. Communication is the tie that binds. When you have a somebody that you can rely on in a verbal conversation that knows how to steal your heart, knows how to make you feel better, knows how to, support you and, help you grow, that comes from conversation. That doesn't have, that's not a physical thing. That's a mental, that's a intellect, that's a, you know what I'm saying? That's those things. That's a character thing. And it's challenging to find people who are character driven, not only online and on the phone, but in person to match it. You know what I'm saying? The expectation should be, my expectation of meeting anybody that I've spoken to online is just be who you were when I met you online. You know what I'm saying? We don't have, it doesn't have to be anything crazier than that. Now, if everything else lines up, like for instance, if you were dating online and they showed you all these pictures and all these kind of things, please be close to the picture. Like, make sure that you have done the work. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah, man. Yeah, she said, I remember the time you was having relationship issues and you was going off on the phone. And so it makes for great writing. Yeah, it makes for great writing. I write my songs based off of how I felt when I went through. And I got to a point where it's like, I'm not having those conversations there. I'm not arguing with folks like that. It's not necessary. You know what I'm saying? And that was at a point where I was trying to get somebody to understand that how they were affecting the outcome of what we were trying to do. You know what I'm saying? Um, and it was a point where, what I said before, I was a coach in the relationship more than I was a player in the relationship. And what I mean by that, not player like player. I mean like on the same team, right? Um, the hardest part for someone who has done the work is to maintain a player in a relationship and not be the coach. You absolutely, this is where I'm gonna recommend for anybody who's in those relationship situations, I'm recommending that you all let a therapist do it. You need a third party qualified person to have that conversation. You shouldn't do it. You have to absolve, you have to if there's any advice I can give y'all, maintain being a player in the relationship. Yeah, yep, they cheated. Yeah. That the song "Slipping" is a true story. I told y'all that "Slipping" is a very true story. Me chasing my dreams, being very passionate about what I was doing. You know what I'm saying? It's one of those things. But um, you have to you have to thank you. Yeah. No, I write from what I'm going through. You know what I'm saying? Every great songwriter should do that. But you must maintain this, right? Your position in your relationship has to main some. It has to be parallel. It has to be parallel. No one wants to feel like they're lesser than you in a relationship, even though they may be less involved when it comes to communication in relationships. That's why it's a because especially in the beginning, right? In the beginning of the relationship, the submission that's needed from both people can be challenging. No one wants to give more than they feel like they're receiving, unfortunately. You know what I'm saying? Um, but I think that most clinical psychologists will tell you the pendulum swings. How hard it swings in one direction or another does make a difference in the livelihood of the relationship. As it's swinging, your job is to create a flow where it doesn't swing right or left so much. At some points, I'm gonna give 80% and you gonna give 60. Or I'm gonna give 100 and you're gonna give 50 or 40 or whatever. It can't be that low, but at some point you're gonna feel like you loving the other person greater than they're loving you back. And usually that's just a moment in time. And sometimes what you're told to do is back up a little bit and leave room. Somebody just typed it a minute ago about space. Leave room for them to jump back in. Don't overwhelm them with your 100%. If it looks like it's 100% and we're doing fine, then that's a fallacy because the person carrying 100% isn't doing fine. They're actually carrying 160%. Yep. Believe it. Believe it. But that's one of those things that, you know what I mean? People don't realize when they say, I give 100, you give 100. Who's taking up the slack for when the other person isn't giving 100? It's the person who's giving 100. The person giving 100 is actually giving now whatever you're not giving. So are they straining? Yes. Even though people act and move like they're built to carry more than they should, they're not. And we take it, and people take advantage of that and overload people. And then when people finally combust, you know what I'm saying, when they go off, they don't understand what happens. Like, yo, I'm on the heavy side of this thing, man, and you're not. I can't get any relief, and I'm leaving. I'm trying to create room and space for you to dive back in and for you to contribute and to do your part, but you haven't done that yet. What else can I do to help you help us? But we can't have those conversations inside because they're inflammatory. Like the person who's carrying more, usually it's usually at a fed up point or at a, oh my God, this is it's starting to overwhelm me point. And of course we know when we're overwhelmed or fed up, we don't communicate with people in a way that's going to get them to do the things that we need or want them to do. I say you got to always remember the prize, right? You got to remember what you're doing it for. You got to remember what you're in it for. And people tend to forget. Like, I always think about if I'm going to argue or if I'm going to do something, I always think about what do I want from it. And I said this, I forgot, I typed it on a young lady's page, right? This young lady on Instagram, she put something up where she was like testing a man or something, right? She was testing a man, and I said, and wrote in the comments, I said, every man will fail that test. Because nobody likes to be tested, and men will fail it on purpose just to show you that that was never needed. You know what I'm saying? I don't think you should test each other because most times you'll never get the results that you want, and the person will resent you for testing them. Again, I think one of the best things you can do is remain a player in the on the same team, and you get outside help. I've said it before. Whenever I've been tested, I fail on purpose. I promise you. Once I realize I'm being tested, because I used to resent that. I'd be like, "Why are you testing me? Like, who made you? You know what I mean? Who made you, in your opinion, and the way you look and the way you manage things, that you can test somebody else? You know what I mean? Like, think about that. Think about the person that is putting the test out. Like, who are you? You're supposed to be in this with me. So how is it that I'm being tested by you? You know what I mean? Yeah, I do, Miss Lena. Um, it's very ballsy. You know what I'm saying? So I tend to I don't think you should test each other. Um, you know, things that I think that you should manage is uh, remembering it's a pendulum and how hard that pendulum is swinging at one point or another. It'll make a difference in how you communicate with the other person. But I always manage to keep my eye on the prize, right? So if I'm going into a conversation and there's a goal that I want to accomplish, then there's nothing greater than getting that goal accomplished. And the way that I communicate, and this is why I tell women, y'all have so much power. You all have so much power because men are fragile. All of us. As strong as we are physically, we are fragile when it comes to matters of the heart. If we like you or we love you, oh, we're fragile. Oh, we're fragile. If we've opened up to you and we've given you the roadmap that we don't give to everybody, oh man. Listen, ladies, you have the ability to, and I've said this before, you can have and get anything that you want. Anything. If it's able to be given, you can have it. No, Foxy. If you don't know that, Foxy, then it's in the way that you communicate, because you've taken your eye off the prize. You become very prideful, and you can't see past your own hand. The big picture always has to stay in view. No matter what resistance, no matter what avoidance you might get, the big picture has to stay at the forefront of what you want. Foxy says she wants a brand new house. Well, if you're with a man, Foxy, who can afford to get you a brand new house, and you don't have a brand new house yet, then that's in the way that you've communicated with that person. It's in the way that you interact with that person. But I know women who have men who can afford that house, and they know how to talk that man into adding a second garage onto that house. I'm trying to tell y'all take your eyes off the prize, and you become emotional and prideful, and you and some have a attitude of where they feel like they deserve it, or an expectancy that comes with, you know what I'm saying, how to get over. That's another conversation, Notoria, but we'll get into that. She said, how do you get over self-esteem? Somebody bookmark that. We can talk about that. Um and that too, Tammy, why can't you save for the new house that you want? Because even in saving and putting forth an effort is showing him that entitlement. That's it, Clarissa. Thank you. It's showing him that you're on board with chasing your dreams and trying to make it happen as well. You know what I'm saying? But if a man is qualified to do the things that you want him to do, then you have to communicate in a certain way. You have to communicate in a way, the same way you captured that man and the way you communicated is the same way you'll upgrade your life. The same way you'll do and get whatever it is that you want. I said this, and it's the same for men as well with women. Men, we typically how to get over low self-esteem. We typically are very gentle. We're mindful of our words. The girl or woman that we're interested in is so precious to us until after we get her. That's the case for a majority of relationships. We do all these things. E. Clay, you will give a woman. E. Clay said, I'm not emotional gullible. I won't just give a woman anything she wants. The truth is, you will. And it's got to be the right woman who sows into you, who communicates to you in the correct way, who you adore and she adores you as well. Oh, bro, you're going to do whatever she wants. You're not going to lose that woman because your pride, or because you are holding on to some some ideology that you got, or feeling like a sucker. I'm gonna tell you right now, the most beautiful relationships, most people will look at them like like dude is a simp. But dude is not a simp. Dude is saying, I will do whatever I have to do to keep this amazing woman in my life. And vice versa. She gonna say, look, I don't care what the world say. The way this man treat me, I haven't experienced this in my life. Or it ain't even about you not even experiencing it, just being wise enough to know this ain't something that come around often. Like too much right now, I'll say, in today's society, oh my God, why do people think that relationships and people are so recyclable? And it has to be because of the access, right? Think about it. When you didn't have so much access to so many other people, you didn't think like this. People didn't think like this. You know what I mean? People didn't think I can discard you and find another in a heartbeat. They did, however, say, you know what you won't appreciate, there's somebody who's been watching us, there's somebody who's been paying attention to us in close proximity That's why friends usually married your ex girlfriend. That's why people around your way. What up, Naima? Got with your somebody you usually the person that you was dating end up married or pregnant or whatever in a involved relationship with somebody you knew. The difference now is it's such a vast, the it's such a vast field of people that people have an opportunity to access, and then and then we go into things, we get into these relationships we know don't work. We get into these relationships we know won't work. Um, and it's unfortunate because people say they want a long lasting relationship, but they put it on, they put themselves in situations where the percentage of accomplishing that goal is very low. People want to be in relationships with people that don't live in the same city as them. Yet they don't understand. Uh, so I see Derek says date with intent to marry. We'll get back to that too. They don't understand that part of what you're gonna have to manage for a serious relationship is being in the same city, being in the same space. You know what I mean? Being close enough to see those actions. So again, this is where the fantasy of the conversation usually wins. I've told people if you're gonna do a long distance relationship, it shouldn't last more than 6 months. And what I mean by that is within that 6 months, y'all should have visited each other 4 to 5 times in that 6 months. If you're truly interested in something long term with the person, you gotta go to where they go. They gotta come to where you are. You gotta go meet their friends one time. They gotta come meet your friends sometimes. You gotta go meet their family. Da da da. If you're serious, thank you, D Snow. If you're serious, then you're seriously getting involved in the personal life of these people outside of a phone call. Charlena says, hold on. Long distance can work. My friend is happily married less than a year. Again, we'd have to go back over how they put their long distance situation together. Did they meet in person and then start long distance relationship? One of them moved away, whatever. Like there's a bunch of nuances that go into that. He moved her from Atlanta. There you go. That's what I said, Charlena. You can't, but you cannot. People want to have an extended long distance relationship. People want to do. We've been talking on the phone for 2 years. We've been long distance for da 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 da, or these really ridiculous periods of time. And I'm like, that's not how life works. If you're really trying to be a part of somebody's life, they met on a phone call while she was working. That's very different. But I've heard of that before. You know what I mean? The right care. What up, Shalea? The way a person communicated to them, you know what I'm saying, is a start. But they would have immediately had to go be like, yo, what's your Instagram? What's your data? Let me see what you look like or something. Because that's an anomaly. I'm not mad at anomalies. You know what I'm saying? I would love for the outcomes to always be that way. That you started off on a long distance relationship and ended in a marriage. You know what I'm saying? That's ideal. But it doesn't happen often. Typically, people have a desire to have people in their life. Her mom had a dream. Woo! All right. People have a desire to be around. If you're a person of good moral standards, you're attractive and whatnot. The people around your way make it challenging for long distance relationships to work because you are people in your proximity give you the attention, and yeah, it's hard. Clay. They give you the things that you want out of a relationship in your face. Just usually they're not the right people. But that's because Clay, people stand on their own. I was in a long distance relationship, and I told her like, listen, if we're really gonna do this, you got to move. And I know it wasn't what she wanted to hear. You know what I'm saying? Because I think she had really just gotten settled into where she was. But I was like, if we trying to do this, you got to move, because my career is here. My career take care of us. In the interim of you moving, and you have a career that you can find a job easily in the medical field where you was at. And she was like, she passed on it. She, it is what it is. That part, Charlena. So FaceTime makes it a little easier or whatnot. Doesn't make it the greatest, but that's a nuance that has been added to the long distance relationship that makes it a little easier. But if you're a person who needs physical touch, you know what I'm saying, it just makes it challenging. My ex met his wife now online 8 years ago from Australia and just married long distance 8 years. Carrie, then you go back to, you know, how often did they see each other, how did they manage that, and then that's a very, were either of them in relationships up until the point that they actually got together. That's there's the real challenge is having the security, having the faith, having the trust, in each other. You know what I mean? Because if you're a person, like I said, if you're an attractive person and you go out in public, you know, you get the invitations, man. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't stop being dope just because you're with somebody who likes you. And that's the part that always compromises long distance relationships. And some long distance relationships are already questionable, but some of them already have relationships going on when they meet people that they like better than the person that they're with, and they start these long distance relationships. And then there's some people who absolutely fall in love. It sounds like the Australian relationship, that they fell in love. They had probably been through some things with some other people and was like, you know what? You're everything that I want, and I can't have you here with me right now, but I'm willing to, if this is going to be a real thing, it's going to be our life, our life going forward. I put forth the effort. I'll wait. But you gotta, if you're not making an effort to see each other, in Australia to America, that's a very long way. So I give a little grace on the period of time that you can go see each other. That 22-hour flight is no joke. You know what I'm saying? Like, this, the trip alone is crazy. So, but if you get together, y'all have an amazing time. Y'all, of course, the intimacy level is on point. Which intimacy can go a long way with the right two people being faithful with one another. Especially if you've been a player in your past, you got it out of your system, or you, like I said, you fell in love and you cherish that love, then, you do it. And it goes back to what we started in this conversation with. A woman who is strong, who has this wall that you have to break through in order to really get to know them, is something, like I said, something to she said, I'm not a girlfriend, I'm a wife. I mean, Charlena, that's not up to you. Charlena says, I'm not a girlfriend, I'm a wife. A woman finds a boyfriend, a man finds a wife. And so in that, the only requirement for you as a woman is to be an amazing girlfriend. That's it. You just got to be an amazing girlfriend. Amazing girlfriends, in most instances, become amazing wives. Yep, there you go. Shirley said, that's why I'm a wife. Exactly. But that's because you were an amazing girlfriend. I don't want anyone to run past that. You got to be a dope chick. Honestly, you just got to be, and that's going to roll up all those things. Carrie Lynn, great question. It's not about giving too much either, Dara. Listen, so she said, what makes an amazing woman? You all are so uniquely designed, and God is such a brilliant coordinator, that it's different for every man and woman when they enter into something together. There is no, this is what makes an amazing woman. There are elements that work out for great relationships and just being a great person, which helps make you an amazing woman. You know what I'm saying? But to be an amazing woman for the right man is to be an awesome girlfriend for the right dude. And who knows what that means? You know what I'm saying? Only you and the person you with know how the design of your relationship fits. It can fit like this, and that's where you want to be at, but that's, you know what I mean? I just said that. A man, the Bible says, a man that findeth a wife finds a good thing. Right? But a man finds his wife in his girlfriend. He doesn't find the girlfriend as a wife. That ain't it. You just don't stumble onto a wife. You have to meet them, court them, understand them, and you see that she will be, when a man gains an understanding that she is everything and I cannot let her get away, she becomes a wife. When he feels she is everything he needs, when he feels that he doesn't want to let her get away, there's no way that he could be without her, usually that woman becomes a wife. But if you are a girlfriend is annoying, who doesn't know herself, or insecure, all these challenges, yee. I'm just saying, Foxy, it becomes challenging, and you like, you know what? I like that. Charlena says a woman should be authentic, walking in her feminine strength, knowing who she is, and loving herself. I think the last part should be first. A woman who loves herself a woman who loves God and loves herself will require a man to find that love that she has for herself, but more so find that love that she has for God in the same place. He will see the God in her and chase that. And that'll be the cornerstone of their relationship. That's how it should go. Too many times men are chasing women who don't have a commonality that's rooted in something greater than both of them, that they both can align themselves to. No, you have to love God first, natural. And in your love for God will show that you love yourself. And that's where we get it. We can't put ourselves ahead of what God has for us. And when you do, you get the structure. And if you put yourself ahead of God, guess what you don't have? You don't have the protection of God. But if I put God first, then I have the protection of God. And then I know that's covering me, and I'm healthy for that reason alone. And from there, you got to go through God to get to me. And God is going to protect me from any hurt, harm, or danger. That's how it should work. Not, I can't tell you. Most people don't do that. Most people don't, do that. But what the question, Notorious? She said, "I'm so sorry, Scrap. Can we go to my question? It's important for me to know." I think your question was the self-esteem question, right? I didn't see I didn't see it, Latif. I'm sorry. So Notoria had how do you manage self-esteem? It's called self-esteem, right? So with that, Notoria, nobody can manage your self-esteem but you. It's more about what you feel about you that has to be managed. And in that, you got to examine what it was or what it is that has made you feel the way that you feel about yourself that causes you to think lowly of yourself. You got to go and look at the timeline of your life and try to understand why you don't love yourself as much as you should. And if it's an outside influence that did it, and were they warranted, which I can tell you they weren't, warranted to manage that. But again, you probably were attacked at some point before, and I don't know if you're a religious person or if you believe in God or spiritual or whatnot, but you've been moving without that protection. And that's the only reason why you would feel that way about yourself, is because you don't understand that the love of God is greater than the love of anybody else that you're trying to get to love you, even yourself at times. So if you put your love and interest into God, God will return that to you, and you'll gain strength for yourself and everyone who sees it as you move forward. But you have to have that. Like you have to. People are trying to move without the protection of God, and I don't want to make this a spiritual thing or whatever. Whatever you're dealing with, you got to understand it. Everyone needs protection. Period. Yeah. So remember, Notoria, I said something earlier. She said, "What happened if you had lack of love growing up as a child?" Well, as a child, that was before you knew better. You're an adult now. And I'm not. I'm. What you'll find is I'm not a person who's going to make excuses for you. But what I will do is strengthen you for you to understand that what happened to us as a child has cultivated us to a point of understanding how it should happen now. Now you can live in the past and regret what happened, or you can make an adjustment now and saying, "I know that wasn't right. I know it wasn't true. I know that wasn't me," and go from there. But you'll only understand that by you have to get closer to God for him to help you understand that even more so. That you didn't have what you needed then, so you could be as strong as you need to be now. So we go through things in our childhood and our youth to build us up to be the persons that we're supposed to be, or at least have the experiences to have the strength to become who we're supposed to be. But you can't have that transition if you're not looking at God and saying, God, you know, help me become who I'm, show me who I'm supposed to be. With your love, let's do this. With your love for me, my love for you, my glorifying you and everything that I do, show me. Let's see what that life is like. And Notori, I promise you, things just you'll see it, you'll feel it. The strength will just happen. You'll be walking with a renewed faith in everything that you do. You'll know that if you fall, you'll never touch the ground. You know that if you move, if you try to fly, your wings will open up. It's not a. She said, I pray a lot. What you pray for matters. Are you praying in detail? Are you praying for the right thing? Are you praying for discernment? Are you praying? If you're not praying, and if you're praying and you're not seeing a change and an adjustment, your communication has to be different. If you always do what you always done, you'll always get what you always got. You got to make an adjustment. If you're telling me that you pray a lot, but yet you aren't seeing any change in your prayer, then your communication with how you talk to God has to be different. You can't knock on the same door and it's not opening, and you say, I've been knocking on this door, it don't open. Bang on the door, kick the door. If what you need is on the other side of that door, then you got to do something different. Go get one of those things the police use and a thing and knock that door through. You got to make an adjustment. There are spiritual warriors out there. Align yourself with somebody who can pray with you. You know what I mean? You can join hands and pray with somebody over the things and over your life and over what you want and what you are trying to accomplish. Yep. Now, because it's not you're the things from around you, and those things don't make you. It's again, you're wondering why after being so great on the outside to everybody else that you don't feel like you want to feel on the inside. Come on, man. You ever been you ever been uh you ever been in bed and you can't get your feet warm? You're under the covers and everything. You're under the covers, and externally you should be warm, but you're not. It's because your insides. It starts from the inside. What you're trying to do is change from the outside in. It doesn't work like that. You have to change from the inside out. You have to make adjustments. Self-esteem starts with doing things that you enjoy doing wholeheartedly, and expressing that wonder and that joy and that excitement when you do it, and have fun with your life. Your kids will benefit from it. The people at your job will benefit from it. You have to start understanding that your past is not your future. What you went through was so that you could be standing in attendance like you are right now. And the fact that you can communicate that something wrong, that's the first thing. But you've identified the root of it. It happened when you were a kid, and now as the future moves forward, you know how to handle this. You have all the tools in front of you. But understand that, let's not act like the devil ain't working. let's act like those spirits aren't out there that's trying to keep you back where you were. Because they wouldn't be on you. You wouldn't feel this way if you didn't have a commission on your life or something important that you're supposed to be doing. That's the only reason why you're going through that. God, the devil don't mess with people who ain't doing nothing. The devil don't mess with nobody who ain't trying to make a change. You know what I'm saying? You working with him. But if you are trying to make these adjustments, then understand it's going to be challenging. It's kind of like weight loss. Like, it's what we talk about when we talk about the apple cider vinegar drink and the lifestyle that goes with that. It is a everyday commitment. You don't get days off, because your body is like a rubber band, just like you and your self-esteem is like a rubber band. It will go back to the way it was quicker than it will a change because of the elasticity. So what you're trying to do is break the elasticity on your self-esteem so that you break it and it never returns. You got to extend it to the point that if you do happen to fall and take a day off, that it does not go back to the way it was. It may revert back a little bit, but not so much that it changes how you how you manage, so, but that's how, you have to deal with self-esteem. You have to understand that it is not from without, it is from within, and you have to extend you have to, I know, Latif, you have to break the elasticity and this is for everybody who's dealing with anything, especially addiction and all those kind of things. It's a rubber band, y'all. And it's a rubber band that you've designed, right? And in that rubber band, your body, your life, the addiction, those things are more comfortable when the rubber band isn't expanded, when you're not stretching it out and trying to break it. It's okay. It stays there. You know what I mean? That thing is broken the minute you snap the rubber band. The minute you snap the rubber band, things can't go back to the way they were. That's what's up. And listen, there's no time greater than the moment that you're in. I don't want to hear anybody saying I'm gonna start tomorrow or none of that. I always tell people, listen, start now. You ain't gotta start tomorrow. Start right now, because it starts with your mindset before it starts with the physical action that you're trying to take. You have to have it made up in your mind, Notoria, that you won't go another moment, another day feeling some kind of way about yourself. Period. Point blank. Right now, in this moment, you have to do it. You have to say, I no longer submit to the spirit of low self-esteem. Period. And every action you take moving forward, the minute you catch yourself trying to have low self-esteem, remind yourself not only that you're a child of God, but remind yourself that you're important on every level. Well, T-Baby said, don't forget to forgive yourself. If anything, forgive yourself for extending the period of time that you've been allowing the spirit of low self-esteem be on you. But do not apologize for what you went through. I'm going to tell every last one of y'all, your journey is a journey for a reason. It is to strengthen you and so that you have a testimony. Now, when you have your breakthrough, Notoria, God requires you to give him the glory. So you're going to have to tell people, look, there was a point in 2024 and I just happened to jump on this live and I don't know what was going on, but I asked a question and they was talking about relationships and I heard this information. And from that moment on, I know I normally don't get on people's lives. I had never been in his live before and I just jumped on and it was period. It was probably, divine intervention and whatnot. And from this moment on, I have decided to do something different. Period, point blank. Every change, whenever y'all feel like y'all should need to make an adjustment, it should happen right then. Too many times, everybody want to have delayed success. Your only reason for having delayed success would be that you aren't prepared for the breakthrough God has for you. That's the only reason why you should submit to delayed success. That's it. That's it. I like that, Miss Lena. Miss Lena said, don't compare yourself to other people. That will contribute. And that's another thing, I guess. Outline, Notoria, just so you can get rid of it. Outline what it is that makes you feel like you have low self-esteem. Like outline the triggers, because sometimes it's always external things. How you see other people, faring in life. But here's the catch-22 to that, and maybe this will help everybody run from envying other people. You don't know what they had to go through to get it. You don't know what burdens they carry to keep it. And you don't know how many people they've affected negatively or positively in their journey to do it. And you may not have ever wanted that burden that they carry with them. I don't envy anybody because I don't know what you've been through. And I don't know if I could have survived it. Like, let's be real. Be honest with yourself. Allow people to live their life the same way you're going to hope that people allow you to live your life, because you've been through something, Notoria. You've been through what you've been through in your past, and not everybody can sustain that, not receiving that kind of love and nurturing that they felt like they needed. But again, you are who you are today. You've accomplished what you've accomplished today because of what you've been through in your past. Please, nobody be upset about your past. And furthermore, don't be upset about a past that you're not ready to adjust now. If you're mad about something, listen, the serenity prayer works for everybody. You know what I'm saying? You can't be mad about what you can't change, but you can do something about the things you can change that'll change the outcome of your past, it'll never happen in your future. And the fact that you said it out loud tonight, Notoria, in front of all these people, you have an obligation not only to yourself, but to us to make the adjustments. Because we're going to hold you accountable. You show up in my live again, somebody gonna ask you. I can promise you, I know my people. They gonna ask you, "Hey, how you doing? How you feel? You good? Okay, good." I'm just telling you how my folks work. Accountability partners, absolutely. Everybody should have one. Everybody should have one. You know, um, it works. And you know, my live, we kind of open ourselves up to be that on so many different levels for so many different people. You know what I mean? We're accountability partners, and we hold people accountable. First and foremost, we ask that you hold yourself accountable. That way, we don't have to do all the heavy lifting. That's it. That's it, yo. That's it. That it. This conversation started off, and again, that falls in line with strong woman, aggressive woman. You do have to decide to be strong and consistent in everything that you do. The consistency is what has to happen. There you go. See, she says strong every day. Your consistency is what is going to give you the breakthrough that you want. So you have to stay on point, and that's why you got friends. That's why you have people. There you go. Charlena, there's a scripture for you. Psalms 139, verse 14. There you go. What's up, bro? Your success, and if you've been in my live, especially when I'm talking about my apple cider vinegar drink, I'll tell you in a heartbeat. Your success is on the other side of your consistency. Period. I think that it depends on where your mindset is at when you go for those walks, Notoria. You got to remember, if you're walking and you're spending a time, and that's your moment to spend with God, absolutely. But if you're walking alone, makes you feel lonely, and you start thinking about the things that support a low self-esteem, then no, I wouldn't suggest you do that. Remember, you got to outline the things that contribute to the negative feeling that you have, and then you avoid those things, and then you got to add on the other side of the list, which should be the first list, is what contributes to you strengthening yourself and feeling good about yourself, and nurture the hell out of those. Nurture them so much that the other side is so weak it can't combat with what you're feeling and thinking about yourself. And now, mind you, I want you to understand, until you get completely strong, that feeling you have is going to be a plate glass window, and what you're trying to do is build it up till it's titanium steel. So you have to be very mindful and careful with yourself. You have to be very careful with yourself. Yeah, man. And that's it. You just got to be mindful as you move. You got to be very conscious of being vulnerable. 8 ounces of water, clay, 8 ounces of water, 2 teaspoons of apple cider vinegar, one freshly squeezed lemon, and that's it. And we used to add honey to it, but we took the honey out of it. It was beneficial if it was raw local honey for allergies and stuff, but no, we just do it the other way. And I usually do it at 3. I got to figure it out because I stay up so late that I can't get up as early as I want to do it with everybody else. No, we don't have to pin that. Yeah, we're doing music. I'm gonna get off here and we're gonna restart and get into some music. But I knew I wanted to have a conversation with you guys because we haven't. For anybody who missed a majority of this conversation, or there's something that you enjoyed about it, or some notes or clips or whatever, you guys can go to my YouTube channel. I'm going to upload the audio as a podcast, and I'm going to upload the video itself if you want to go through that and take pieces of it and share, because I know there are a few things that I think would apply to everyone, of our friends and family that we know. A little piece of something in the conversation tonight. I think I gave a couple of analogies that might help somebody understand that segment of what we talked about a little bit too. You know what I mean? Yeah, I didn't make it today, Latif. I caught a migraine because I went to so y'all know we stayed up late last night, and then I had a eye doctor appointment today. And when the eye doctor shined that stuff in my eyes, you know what I'm saying? Like, before, here's a quick testimony. Before, I went last year or whatever, and the doctor was trying to tell me, he's like, yeah, I see something in your eye or whatever. And he's like, come back in about, I want to have you come back in like a month or two or whatever, and we may have to do some kind of surgery or something. And me, I'm already, just so y'all know, I'm already like, surgery on my eye, fool? Man, you can forget about it. So, so I did not reschedule with him. My eyes didn't show any change or whatever. I didn't feel like they was messed up. And then when I took this trip just recently, I don't know if I slept the wrong way or whatever, but I woke up one day, my eye was so red, it was like crazy. And I was like, man, I was say I ain't do nothing. How the hell I might have pink eye or something? But it was like red and hurt a little bit. And then by the time I returned home and went to my doctor's appointment, my eye doctor appointment today, they did the examination. The lady's like, "Remember that thing that was in your eye that we saw before? We don't see it anymore." I was like, "Got it." You know what I'm saying? But the shining of all that light in there made me. No, I don't have anything, Latif. Whatever it was gone. But my vision was, I didn't need to do anything with my prescription or nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'll play Slipping tonight, Rose. So it was one of those things. But I'm adverse to bright light. So sometimes if I've not slept well and I get on here with y'all and I go live and this ring light that's in front of me is in my eyes too much, that's when y'all seen, sometimes some of y'all have been witness to it at night. I'll be like, yo, I got to get off because I can see it. You know what I'm saying? There you go. I can see the a migraine coming on. I don't know if anybody ever has experienced that, but I see like this crazy little light in my eyes, and then I can't see, like it starts blocking my vision, and so I know I'm getting a migraine. So I try to do something to prevent it from being really bad, and lay down. Yeah, Gina, I realize that the sensitivity to light thing. You know what I mean? I have since done that, Miss Lena. I've changed the light setting. But so yeah, so listen, give me a second. I'm gonna stop all these other devices. YouTube, we're gonna go. The reason why I can't do our music nights on YouTube is because YouTube has flagged me already, saying that they don't want to have to keep giving me copyright notices in the future. They're gonna give me strikes, and then my YouTube account will be gone. For those of you who are not following on my YouTube, you can follow right now. I want to make sure y'all are on there because the view is different too. If y'all look on my YouTube, the view is different. It gives you more insight into the space that I'm in, which makes me comfortable to have these conversations and to play the music. But my YouTube is YouTube. There it is. YouTube right there. YouTube.com. I see green one. It's at the top, Notoria. You guys go ahead and if y'all want to go there right now for a hot second, you could do that while I log off here. So everybody go to my YouTube real quick. I'm gonna log off here, go back to the other account to get us started on the music. My music is copywritten, so it's not a big deal for me to play my own music. But if you're on YouTube and you're playing the music, they're real funny. You know what I'm saying? The content that they allow on there, they want it through their music channels only. You know what I'm saying? It's one of those kind of things. You know. My other account is Dwight Scrap Reynolds. It's in the bio. We're on my backup account for everybody who's on here right now, and we may end up here again. But my this is my backup account. My main account is Dwight Scrap Reynolds. If you're joining me on YouTube right now, make sure you say hello in the chat so I know you came over. But eventually, we are going to be having our relationship conversations more often solely on YouTube. That way I only have to look at one device. You know what I'm saying? So we'll be on YouTube more so than anything. Especially with all the uncertainty around this platform. It's just better. What up, Jamie? I see you. It makes more sense for us to cover ourselves. Now, I enjoy YouTube. If y'all can see it, for those of you who are joining me on YouTube, you see the space that I'm in. It's a whole nother vibe. You guys kind of can see Spider-Man. You can see the Master Chief. Some of the signs behind me say, this one says, dream as if you'll live. Dream as if you'll live forever. Live as if you'll die today. You know what I'm saying? And that's something that, you know what I'm saying, I think everybody should get on. You know what I'm saying? What's up, Raquel? What's up, Clay? Shauna, I see you. Carrie, I see you. And then I have another sign over my right shoulder that says dope vibes only. You know, I just have, I surround myself in a space like this where you got to have a conversation. I think a space like this, what's up, Kayla? You know, you got to have these things around you to just help remind you of your vibe. You know what I mean? I do like Spider-Man. I got it tatted on my arm right there. And I got Spider-Man tatted on my arm so I don't get caught up. Oh, that's you, Shauna. Okay, I didn't know who that was. Okay. What's up, Patricia? I see you. So yeah, everybody make sure y'all get over there real quick to the YouTube. Clarissa, I see you. Everybody get to the YouTube. Handbag Design, I see you. Yeah, Charlena. So I can look directly at you guys, but I have to look over here in order to see what you guys are typing because my laptop is right there. Yes, I see green one. Are you live on YouTube? I'm live right now, Nina. Yeah. Thank you for subscribing. Everybody who's subscribing on YouTube, man, I appreciate y'all big time. That's ultimately where we're going to end up. And I just think the presentation is so much better, and there's so much other stuff I can do. For instance, I can add you guys to the conversation where right now y'all see Charlena. I just posted her conversation, and it looks better when I post your comments because your picture comes up as well. It's a cooler thing. I can do so much other dope stuff over here. Let me see. I can put myself on TV if y'all are looking at. For those of you who are not on my YouTube channel right now, y'all are missing out on how I kind of display some of the different stuff. There'll be some talking head conversations that I'll have on this TV screen like this. There, of course, the main screen. We have where I can show some other stuff, but like I can show I can put things up here that I'm going to show. We'll do some reviews of some of the stuff that I think is interesting, where I'll be able to show a video up here and we can talk about it as a group. I can also have special guests come on, and they can come directly here, which is going to be really cool. I pay for a service where I can have live interviews. So these will be the times where I'll try to get different celebrity friends of mine to join our live or whatnot and come kick it with us. And I can have I can probably put up to 10 different people. I can have 10 different guests on here at the same time, which I'm really excited about. Ashley, I see you. Yep. Sheena, I see you. I'm putting y'all on the screen right now. Angel, I see you. There you go, Soy. I see you. Yeah. So let me end the podcast. That's done there. And and really, so y'all understand this, as we move forward into 2025, and starting tonight, I'm going to make, what up, Precious? I just want to do some things with more intent and more impact as we move forward. You know what I mean? And really give you guys a full rounded experience. Now, if I can't play music over here on my YouTube channel, I can, however, we can have some real discussions because I have so much content that comes across my pages that I always want to talk about, but I don't have, what up, Vicky? That I want to have a conversation about, that we're going to transition from doing more of these conversations and topic driven conversations than music. I believe, I think we're going to have both worlds, but I think that we may switch up and have 2 or 3 days where we're talking about this different stuff. I see you, Original Bambi. Yep, I got you. Yeah. Sadie, I see you. And y'all get y'all picture up there, man, because I can see y'all. Marianne, I see you. Marianne got a professional picture up there. I see you. Sadie got her face in the picture. I see you. Yep. Carrie, I see you. Yeah. I need y'all to get y'all pictures aligned on there so y'all can have that. You know what I'm saying? I think that'd be cool for everyone to, so when I post your comment, you know what I'm saying, people can see who y'all are and stuff like that as well. But yeah, so I think the part that I'm most excited about is I can really plan out a lot more conversation. And now I actually have a podcast machine. I have a podcast. I have the ability to record the podcast myself and then post it wherever I want. I just love it when you call my name. That's funny. You're welcome, Marianne. T baby, I see you. Yeah, I can see you, T. Here you go. Look, you up there right now, chilling with the shades on. Yeah, so that's what I like too, Nuru. It's like, this is my space. You know what I'm saying? For those of you, it's unfortunate that it's ICGREEN in the numeric war, Marcella. I think it's unfortunate that the field of view, I get it. TikTok and Instagram, the field of view is what it is. You know what I'm saying? It is very in your face. But I also like the fact that you guys are in my space right now. This is where the magic happens, and I'll be all over the place in this room as things go forward, and it's a better space. Now, actually, I will have the room a bit brighter. It's not messy. Alexa, turn video room on. So you can see the Kanye West picture on the side over there. That sign right there says open 24 hours. There's a TV there and a TV here. So when you guys see me, we got some things going on in the future here that I'm excited about. I'm gonna be, y'all gonna be spending a lot of time with me, but it won't be solely on TikTok. I'm sorry. I'm gonna have y'all in a couple different places. You know, Alexa, turn video room blue, so I can play around with it and give it a cool little vibe and aesthetic in the background. You can't see the impact of it here on TikTok as much as you can see it on YouTube. Now, also on YouTube, they give you guys the ability to clip comments, or I mean, clip screens. Anything y'all want to clip from the live, you can clip it and repost it and share it. What up, Lisa? You can on here they have what's called super chats, where you would, if you wanted your chat to stand out or whatever, you would buy a super chat and it would stay at the top of the screen for a long period of time. Stacy said the sound is lower here. Oh, that's because it's using this, man. Somebody mentioned it earlier, but I didn't I see what the issue is. I can't fix it at the moment. It's actually recording my vocal for you guys through the computer itself, and I actually have another way to have that connected where the vocals come out of the system that I'm using for TikTok. So let me see. Does it give me an option there? No. So yeah, it's a matter of connection. The way I have it connected right now, I need to connect one particular wire, and then that will allow the Rodecaster Pro to connect everything. So it's a connection thing. I'll have it all set up, you know what I'm saying, so that we could do it or whatnot. But yeah, Ebony said this is different. Shauna, yep, I see you. The ambiance, Nina, yep. So you guys are all, whenever I see you guys' comments, you know what I'm saying, especially when you guys say something dope, or if for anybody who buys a super chat or whatever, I'll make sure I pin your comment up here as well so you can see it. Like I said, I've got it set up where I can give you guys, it could be a clip from YouTube, or I mean a clip from Instagram that I can play, and then we can discuss the script, because there are some conversations that have run across my that I've commented on and that I've discussed that really are worth a conversation. I think there was a conversation I posted once, and we were starting to have a conversation where the young lady said, the question was asked to her, if you got 80% of what you wanted in a man, would that be enough? And the lady said no. And I just lost it. I just lost it. I was like, there's so much to be said about a person getting 80% of everything that you desired in a person, versus most people only getting 50% or getting less. 80% is a great starting point, was my argument. It's like 80%, like the rest is super easy to fill up. Like the 20% that person has, what are you gonna bring to fill it? Like, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot to be said, you know what I mean? Trina, yeah, that's what's up. I don't see the picture yet, Sheena. They haven't let you post your picture yet, but I see Trina chilling with her shades on. Yeah, it makes it more intimate with everybody. Absolutely. So I'm looking forward to that, for us to transition there. So if you're subscribing on the same parameters, you know, happen everywhere, you guys. When you're on these platforms, for the person that you are watching or supporting, when you hit the subscribe button, it'll ask you, do you want to turn on notifications? There'll be a bell. You hit that bell and you turn it on to always. Now what that means is, it just means that when I go live, which is usually when we're talking or whatever, and I decide to go live, you'll get a notification that one time that I'm going live. It won't be like I'm popping on all throughout the day. You know what I'm saying? So that's the reason why you turn on notifications to always. That's right, Goldie. I like that. She said 80% is great because 20% can be learned behaviors. I love that. I love that. You know what I'm saying? So when you do that, get on the, follow, subscribe, or whatever, and then turn on the notifications to always. What up, Kel? Kel, we had a conversation based off of what we discussed last night. So you're gonna have to go to my YouTube to see it, though. You have to go to my YouTube and watch it. It was dope. I think that last night was an amazing conversation. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's Shalea. Listen, it's easy. I'm on on my YouTube right now. Yeah, I'm on YouTube right now. But this is and that's what everything, Shalea. I think that's the challenge, is being grounded, and again, I don't mind some fantasy, you know what I'm saying, but the reality has to outweigh that, you know what I mean? The reality has to outweigh that, and that's true. Marianne said no one is perfect, and I think people understand that. I just think that saying that and then in practicality, how people approach it. I think people are looking for some sort of perfection. And the crazy part is we look for perfection in other people in a way that we can't find it in ourselves. You know what I'm saying? Which is there's a little crazy dichotomy there where it's like, yeah, I would for what I'm not perfect at, and I would love for you to be perfect at it if I'm not. You know what I mean? Like we gotta look at those. We gotta look at where somebody is strong at and where somebody is weak at, and be confident that we can find what we need, or we can get what we need out of that person, or we can strengthen that thing in that person by being it ourselves. You know what I'm saying? Yep. Kel said we also hold others accountable for things we are easy on ourselves on. Exactly. That if you can't ask for something from somebody that you're not holding yourself accountable to. But we already know accountability is a challenge across the board. Accountability is, especially in this day and age, like nowadays where you got to be politically correct, you got to walk on eggshells, and you don't want to hurt nobody's feelings. I can't stand it. You know what I mean? And that's why people make up who they are. That's why people are living these false lives, is because the reality of how somebody's going to react to who you truly are is challenging. What up, Dusty? And it shouldn't be. It should be easy. But what you'll learn is the longer that you are your true self, and people use the word authentic self. I don't understand that. I just know that if you're yourself, just be comfortable with yourself. Everybody else and the people that you want and need to have around you, they'll come. That's how you have to get them off. That's how you get yourself right. Is you be you so good, you be you so dope that it's gonna shake off anybody who's not supposed to be there. You know what I mean? Yeah. Kel says accountability is misinterpreted as taking the blame. That's why people avoid accountability. They don't want to blame themselves for something. I could see that. I could see how people would. They don't want to own up to it, and then listen. Honestly, there are times where you do need to take accountability. You do need to take blame for. You need to own what you really own. That's the best way I can say it. Own what you truly own. You just got to know what that is. You, like when we were speaking with Notoria earlier, Notoria, you can't own what happened to you as a child because you knew no better and you couldn't. That was not a choice you could have made. But as an adult, at the point of you becoming where you understand, you absolutely, and I told you I'm not going to absolve you from your responsibility to yourself because you're an adult now, and you know better, and your mission is to find ways to be good with what happened to you in the past so that you can be greater going forward in the future. No, it wasn't right. You know what I mean? No, it wasn't comfortable. And yeah, it still has a sore spot, but that's because you don't understand how it empowered you to be who you are today. Your past made everyone in this life. It's kind of like this here. And I said this around 2020, and I hope this resonates with y'all. In 2020, we were all part of a project. In 2020, we were all part of a horrible project. By 2021, I said this: every last person who survived 2020 was a survivor. So you didn't need what they were telling you you needed moving forward because you survived 2020. So what you went through in your past, you survived it, and you are here now, so you don't have to acquiesce to any of the systems that were in place then. You've done that. You've done that. Like, you've done that. You weathered the storm of not being loved as a child. You've weathered the storm of the breakthrough of whatever you went through. You've done that. You won. And you're stronger for it. Every person, I said it, every person who survived in 2020, you are stronger for it. Now the devices, here's another part for you, Notoria. The devices formed against you moving forward are not going to weaken. Sometimes they're going to strengthen because you are stronger now. I hope you don't miss that. They are going to come after you even harder. And y'all seen it. Y'all saw what happened after 2020. 2021, they were seducing you with it. They were fear mongering you with it. They were everything they could do. You could get a free this if you do this. If you can get a free that, if you can get that. You can get all, you know what I'm saying? There was so much stuff going on. That's what's going to happen even when you're trying to manage your self-esteem. It's going to be so many people close to you. It's going to only, listen, I want y'all to understand, the only people who have the ability to affect you are the people that know you. Strangers shouldn't have anything to do with, making you feel some kind of way. But that is a reminder for you to be even more closer and paying way more attention to the people who have access to you. The people who have access to you are going to be the ones who challenge your self-esteem sobriety. Period. And that's what you got to remember. The better you're doing, the harder it gets. When you decide, y'all, everybody been a part of this. When you've decided that you're not going, when you go out to the club, that you're not going to have a drink, what happens? Everybody offers you a drink. Everybody offers you a drink. Oh man, whenever you are deciding to stop doing something, the access to it that you wanted when you were doing it just becomes completely accessible. It's crazy. You got to know that. Now, Notoria, I hope those are tears of breakthrough. Notoria said, "I'm making her cry right now." I'm hoping that those are tears of a breakthrough. And with the thank you, I assume that's what it is. Yeah. Tears of breakthrough are amazing tears to cry. The rain clears away things, you know what I'm saying? So I'm on there right now, Sandra. So typically the same times. I'm not changing time zones or whatnot. But what I will do is this. Let me end the YouTube. Everybody, if you're not on my YouTube right now, if you haven't got on the YouTube, what up, Jam? My YouTube is Pep. If you just get in, I need everybody who's joining me on TikTok right now to go over to my YouTube channel right now and at least subscribe to it right now. I'm live on here right now too, so you can see me. And I'm showing you guys some of the features and ways that I'm going to be using YouTube. But make sure you subscribe, turn on notifications to always so you guys can be over there. You know what I mean? And I'm posting comments from people that are typing on there, which is different from what we do here, and the space is different. The energy is the same for me, you know what I mean? But it's ICGREEN1. It's pinned up there right now. I'm gonna spend another 2 minutes, over here. He said we're all going through or have went through what makes us the person we are today. Yep. You gotta know that. Like, you gotta know that. Tears of happy that you care. And yeah, I mean, nah, man. You joined my live, and that already makes me care for you. You know what I'm saying? And the fact that you stayed, you engaged, you asked a question, I'm hoping that we had an opportunity to help out tonight. That's all that matters. I like that. Trina said, "Don't let your past define your purpose." Thank you, Yvette. Yeah, we're gonna do that too, Nuru. I think that I need to find a clip from last night's show. I'm gonna see if I can find it. Because I think one of the things I do want y'all to hear is Kelly Kale's conversation about her purpose. I thought that was strong, and I thought that might benefit somebody who hears it. There's a section in that conversation where she was emphatic about being focused. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's important. Pep, we had the conversation so far tonight. It was on strong or aggressive women in relationships and how men perceive it and how we are activated by it or deterred from it. You know what I'm saying? It says a lot about the man and what his intent is when it comes to it. You'll see it. You'll see it. Listen, that's another thing. Like I said, you guys can rewatch the full conversation. It's an hour. Right now it's an hour and 38 minutes, but we probably really spoke for like an hour and 20 minutes. You know what I'm saying? Of some really powerful breakthroughs and insights. Thank you, Michelle. Oh, Notoria, you gonna make us cry now. It's IC Green One is the YouTube channel. Thank you, Michelle. Michelle said you're such a great guy. Thank you so much. Notoria said, "Yes, you did help me. You made me feel so much important." I mean, you are. Everybody who's I like to, I know that, but I said that. Kelly Kell said, "Crazy though, because I'm submissive in my relationship, but I'm not easy to gauge." I said that. I made mention. I said the man that she is open with is going to love her because of that. You know what I'm saying? The defense mechanism is one that I think every woman should have. Like, honestly, I think every woman should have a defense mechanism set up that makes a man who truly wants to be interested in you fight to get to know you. Even if you're interested, ladies, I think I should have added that. That's part I should have added, is that even when you're interested in the guy, like you goo goo gaga over this dude, right? You can't make it easy. And you gotta leverage it. She said, yes, like pulling teeth in a person with no teeth. That's funny. You have to leverage it. Like, y'all, listen, you already know that you already know what your desires are. And I told y'all already, y'all got to go back and listen. If you missed out on the conversation, y'all got to go back and watch it, because I said something in there so powerful for you. And it's for everybody, honestly. I referenced ladies first, and I said that there's nothing you guys can't have if you want it. If a man can supply it, you can get it. And I said vice versa, out of men, if we want our behaviors to change in the women that we with, there's not a there's we can change, we can move mountains when it comes to the way that we communicate with the women in our lives. I mean, because I'm open, but it's because we are who we are, Kels, right? And you were authentically who you were, and I you know what I'm saying, and being just intuitive. I understand it wasn't an attack on me or anybody. You know what I'm saying? I was like, yo, that's a strong woman who knows what she wants, has gone after it, and knows her purpose, and there's value in that. And everybody should kind of look at that and kind of understand that it wasn't personal. She wasn't, coming after nobody or whatnot. And people aren't used to seeing that, and that's why we had to break it down. You know what I mean? People aren't used to seeing it, and that was why I wanted to talk about it as well, because there are levels of interest in that for everybody. It's something in it for everybody. What up, Tissue? There's something in it that everybody has to take from it, and if it's and when people aren't exposed to it, either you're gonna feel threatened by it or you're gonna be enamored by it. Either way, you're going to know how, you'll know who and how a person is by the way they manage that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I could have actually ran out of that conversation and be like, "Woo, I'm glad that's a," you know what I mean? It could have been that, but it wasn't, because I was like intrigued because of not only what you've accomplished, but because of your creativity, your talent, and then your intent and commitment to be who you were and to show people. And that to me is important for everybody to see. You know? Yep. It does come up different, but yeah, I kind of figured as much. Yeah. No, I enjoy it too. That's why I show up, Clarissa. I enjoy it too. I enjoy being available and having these conversations, because, again, so what y'all don't know is nothing. Well, y'all might know this. Nothing about what we do is scripted. I want y'all to know that there's not a scripted conversation. There's not a scripted DJ session that I have. The only time that there's anything that may seem routine is the conversation about apple cider vinegar, because I don't want to mess that up, and it should be, it has to be repetitious for everybody who sees it, because it's a basic formula for everybody to have the adjustment that they want. You know what I mean? Man, that takes a lot. I do some consulting, Notoria, but I don't do any. I'm not qualified as a therapist like that. Although I do have the way I communicate and interact with people, you would believe like, yeah, I went to school for it, but I haven't. My mother had a lot of psychology books when I was little. I remember reading those. I can't say I completely understood everything, but most of the stuff that I've learned about people is my interaction with people, you know? So it's that. Royal says, seriously, how do I attract a husband? I'm defiant to rules. Hold on to that conversation for the next time that we talk. But I can tell you right now, being defiant to rules doesn't work in any section of life, period. Uh, Rules are guidelines. They're not punishments. They're guidelines. You know what I mean? They help everybody. You know. But that's a conversation worth having. I mean, it's an easy conversation if you ask me, and I think everybody can understand. Like, if you want rules, you know what I mean? A situation with no rules, what if he was that way? You know what I mean? Like, that's not gonna be it. I like that. I like that. You can't attract and defy at the same time. It's like you can't pull and push and try to make progress, make new ground. Okay, so she said, I have an interest and crush on this person, but I don't think they know it's real because a lot of women crush on him. What do you suggest? These conversations are very much needed. Um, that's I don't know. I have an interest and crush on this person. Well, first off, here's the thing. Uh, I think crushes are cool. You know what I'm saying? I think their crushes are, for the most part, uh, selfish in intent. You know what I'm saying? Like your crush is your crush, and whatever. Your crush is your crush, and that's cool, right? And then when you say this person is a high, a person of interest, that becomes challenging as well because you'd have to examine and say, is this person moving or actively, participating as if they're open to reciprocating any crushes or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? So it's one of those kind of things. I think crushes are cool. You keep them to yourself and manage and continue from there. You know what I'm saying? If it's just a crush, just keep it to yourself. And continue engaging and interacting with your friend or whomever it is. We all have that though. You know what I'm saying? I got a crush on Janet Jackson and Halle Berry. You know what I'm saying? And I'm around these people sometimes. You know what I'm saying? So imagine that. They'll never know it though, unless they watch one of these lives. Well, they'll never know it. I think it's important. You know, you do what you can, and if you have opportunity to be around them, and I say if you have to ask yourself why you're crushing on them, and then go from there. You know what I'm saying? Do you want to change that dynamic? You know what I'm saying? And or whatever, and go from there. Thank you, Amanda. I appreciate it. Man, I was supposed to. Okay, so yeah, you know what I'm saying. Everybody got a crush on. We all crushing on somebody, and that's cool. You know what I'm saying. I think it keeps things exciting. Uh, you know, it helps structure in the relationship. I had a man tell me he doesn't speak around me because he's intimidated by my. That's a different conversation, Keisha, and it's different, and you're gonna have to manage that because that's a self esteem issue as well. You guys said, "Self baby is your crush for the community." He knows it. I message him all the time. Okay, cool. Um, Tammy said I crush on myself. Okay, so let me do this. Let me end the YouTube live. Everybody should be following on YouTube. If you're not, I stayed on here a couple more minutes so everybody could join it, and subscribe to it. And then we're gonna get off and go to. So when I go live and we're having conversation, I will almost always be live on YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook. So I almost always be live on those three channels, and then when I'm playing music, it's solely gonna be on TikTok. All right, all right. So we going off of YouTube.